Boxing Insider Radio.
How dare them even to challenge me, these fighters, with their primitive boxing skills? You know what I mean? They're as good as dead. I'm going to show you how great I am.
It's about how much you can take and keep moving forward.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
Boxing Insider Radio, bringing you the very best in boxing from around the world.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of BoxingInsider.com radio. I'm Larry Goldberg. I'm joined, as always, by Henry DeLeon, top boxing trainer in New York City from Mendez Boxing Gym. And joining us from North Carolina is Curtis Spice Jones.
Curtis Spice Jones.
Gleason's Boxing Gym. Curtis, how are you?
I'm good, champ. I cannot complain.
Now Jose Guzman is supposed to be here, but he's running late. We hope that he makes it. But, Curtis, we have a huge show today. We have calling in a little bit the legend himself, multiple world champion, and the man who's fighting Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr.
Mr. Unbeatable.
Y'all must have forgot.
Y'all must have forgot.
Mr. Invincible.
Yo, Curtis, did you forget about Roy Jones?
You can't.
Never. How can you forget about Roy Jones? His last name is Jones Jr. I am Curtis Jones Jr. You can never forget about that.
So what should we talk to Roy about other than the obvious in the Mike Tyson fight?
I mean, like, he does have a legendary Hall of Fame career. I mean,
Yo, Curtis, who do you even think is going to win that fight against Tyson?
The winner of that fight would be the winner of that fight. That's all.
No. If I recall, about a week ago, you were picking sides.
Listen.
I need you to refresh my memory. Who did you pick?
Yo, listen. I'm from where news cameras never come. Street fights unforgettable. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Brooklyn, so you know what I'm rolling with.
But I need to hear you say it.
I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm rolling with Brooklyn, dog.
All right.
Brownsville never ran, never will.
And why do you think that? Why do you think Tyson's going to win?
I mean, if you look at Roy Jones, like in his later in his career, and it looks like he can't take a punch anymore. And I think as fighters, as they get older, we get to that point where like your body just can't take it anymore. I mean, he still possesses the speed, and he still has the punching power, yeah. And I think that would get on Tyson's nerves. And I think you don't want to get on Tyson's nerves.
Do you not Tyson is similar? I mean, he is 3 years older than Roy Jones. Do you not think he similar situation?
No, because if you look at the natural bigger guys, Mike, and if you look at Mike's career, Roy compared to Roy's career, Roy took a lot of brutal knockouts in the end. Outside of like Mike being stopped by like, you know, Lennox Lewis, I mean, he was stopped by like lesser opponents. More so he quit than just being knocked out. But like Roy's been like knocked out.
But this is interesting because despite it being an exhibition fight, I don't know if you saw a couple of weeks ago the Chavez Sr. versus Jorge Arce exhibition fight. They used headgears. They had bigger gloves, only fought 4 rounds. These guys are going all out. Tyson and Roy Jones had agreed to no headgear, fighting with 12-ounce gloves, and they're doing 8 rounds.
And the Athletic Commission is has been saying some interesting things, saying that this fight is not going to be like a regular fight, that they will stop it if it looks like someone's going for a knockout. The WBC has already had a heart attack in their messaging, saying that they should be wearing headgear. They should be wearing 16, 18-ounce gloves. And Tyson is pretty much telling the world that he wants to kill him. I mean, so I'm sure some of that is just Mike Tyson hyperbole. No. He's a scary, scary dude if you watch his videos right now.
You have to look at it like this, right? You got to look at these guys' style, right? Roy Jones has this style where he can say, you know what? I can go out there and box and not kill you. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson fights one way and one way only. Right. Picture Mike Tyson on his toes, trying to like throw a jab and, you know what I mean, box you around and touch you up. That's not who Mike is. It's like, muscle memory. He's going to go back to what he knows best, and he's going to go seek and destroy. That's exactly what he does. But don't be surprised if they move that fight to Vegas or somewhere. Where
No,
like,
I wouldn't say Vegas, because Vegas has a real athletic commission.
Or
Put that in like
Texas.
Oklahoma or one of those, or some state that no one's ever heard of, and that has no commission, and let these guys go at it old school UFC style.
My question is basically, why not just make it a proper sanctioned fight? Why make it an exhibition fight if you're already doing the no headgear? You're fighting 8 rounds. You're only fighting 2 ounces heavier than what you normally would wear in a real professional
The
fight.
athletic commission said that this is going to basically be glorified sparring, but in sparring, you're wearing a headgear, you're wearing 16-ounce gloves,
Right.
and you don't have Mike freaking Tyson.
Glorifying sparring. I mean, I've seen some sparring matches in my days, and I've been a part of sparring matches in my day.
So have I.
Glorifying sparring. Listen, you glorifying sparring is fireworks. I don't know what the hell they thought. I mean, that's a very colorful way of saying it. But it's going to be sparks.
You bring up a very interesting point, because, again, it's like Mike Tyson was taught just to fight one way, to basically destroy anything that's in front of him. It's like, how do you expect someone with that type of mentality to come into an exhibition fight willing to play nice? It's like, it's just not possible.
You don't. At the end of the day, Roy Jones still possesses the speed and power. He pops Mike with a real nice couple of jab, pop, pop.
Even at
What do you
this
think?
age, you think.
But he's not.
What do you think Mike's gonna do?
What about
He's gonna
10, 15
respond.
What about 10, 15 years ago? How much is this fight different? Because you have to figure Roy's speed has definitely kind of come down, but Tyson clearly still has the power. But can his cardio just keep up with that style? We've all seen, quick clips.
I mean, listen, I don't think Tyson plan on going 8 rounds. I mean, if it does, it go past 8 rounds.
But the commission's going to. But here's just it. If you listen to the commissioner, and this is what we have to ask Roy, he's saying that if it looks like these guys are going for the knockout, he's going to stop the fight. So could you imagine a situation where Tyson throws one shot, he doesn't even hit him, but it looks like he's trying to kill him, and then they stop the fight 5 seconds into it? Like, this is a potential that some of the boxing writers are talking about, that this could be a recipe for disaster, because the fans are expecting
Fireworks.
Well, the fans are expecting, 2003.
And you know what's interesting about this bout is that there is no judges. So there's not going to be a declared winner at the end of the 8 rounds, at the end of how.
Oh, no, it will be a
it's
winner.
Like, but that's the thing, is like technically,
Will the winner be the winner?
the winner would be decided by fans, basically, not by judges.
The winner is going to be decided about who's not getting carted off. And I think somebody might get carted off in this fight, to be totally honest with you.
Well, it's definitely an interesting one, and one to look forward to, man. I'm excited.
Listen, man, it's going to be something. But what you also got to take in account that the commission could actually just be saying that for face.
No. This is Los Angeles. I mean, can tell. The California Athletic Commission was, and I can go back and historically with the MMA, they were the roughest commission for new promoters to come in, and they were shutting events down over technicalities, over weird stuff. Like, the California Commission does not play games. Again, this isn't like this is if they were having it in on some second-rate state that doesn't have fights, but this is a real commission. Is this a Hollywood production?
No, I don't believe it's a Hollywood production, because given.
But when they're saying that it's an exhibition, could that also mean that him and Roy and Mike have pretty much planned out an 8-round fight, and they're going to try to stick to the script and
But it's interesting, because even though it's an exhibition, again, going back to the Chavez and Jorge Arce fight, the exhibition fight, these guys went at it. Like, they literally, even after the bell, it's like you can tell that emotions rise in the middle of those rounds, because these guys were hitting each other even after the bell. Like, I remember Chavez turned around and even kicked Jorge Arce on his way back to the stool. So these guys are like, they're going in, so you can expect literally the same thing from guys like Tyson and Roy Jones Jr.
Listen, Roy Jones has a style that will get on Mike Tyson's nerves.
Exactly. And once you get that guy upset, once you get him frustrated, once he
he
feels like you're making him look like a clown, he's going to come after you, man.
Okay.
So it's impossible for that to happen. It's just like, look, one day I think we did a thing. Hold on. We did a thing for CNN, right? With like, about headgears and stuff, and it was me and Peter Quillen, and we were in this part. It's like, you guys don't have to go hard. Of course, naturally, he does something cute. I'm like, oh.
No, Curtis. So this is important. So the California Athletic Commission said, and I quote, we can't mislead the public as to this being some kind of real fight. They can get into it a little bit, but I don't want people to get hurt. They know the deal. It's an exhibition. They can exhibit their boxing skills, but I don't want them using their best efforts to hurt each other. They're going to spar hard, and they shouldn't be going for a knockout. That's the head of the California State Athletic Commission, quote for quote.
Have you ever seen Mike Tyson? Have you ever heard like Mike Tyson sparring partners talk?
But that's just it. That's where we're afraid this fight's going to get stopped.
Have you ever heard about Roy Jones sparring partners talk? Like, these dudes don't know how to, like, it's a pride thing. You understand what I'm saying? In Roy Jones's mind somewhere, Roy Jones probably still wants to fight. In Mike Tyson's mind, he's like, you know what, I'll fight. I feel good. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's the weed or what, but like, he feels good. He wants to fight.
Listen, I think they both want to fight. I think, honestly, Roy Jones Jr., I think he said in an interview, he was a little upset that it got pushed to a later date because now this is making it seem more like a real fight, therefore having proper training camps. So, therefore, he's saying that he's going to take it as a serious fight, that he's going to be reactive to whatever Mike Tyson brings to the ring. So if Mike Tyson ends up hitting him, he's going to hitting him hard. He's going to be returning it just as hard. And he said that it all falls down to how Mike Tyson wants to play this.
Well, guys, I'm excited. So without any further ado, let's talk to Roy Jones Jr. Joining us on the phone is the legend himself, Roy Jones Jr. How are you, champ?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
We're doing great. So we want to get right into this thing about the Mike Tyson fight. Henry?
Listen, we're really excited for this upcoming fight. Everybody's talking about it right now. Obviously, you're preparing to the best ability that you can at this age for probably one of the scariest guys to have ever boxed ever. So my question really is that in a recent interview, you stated that at this age now, you don't have to train as hard or as long as you did when you were at your prime. Can you tell us a bit on how different this training camp has been for you compared to other training camps?
Well, when you're in your prime, you are at a prime of a life, right? You can do things that you train. When you get older, you're not going to recover as quick as you did in your prime. When you do things to the extent and only yourself trying to recover, you're basically going backwards.
Now,
so that changes the category of how you do things.
Right. And as far as like sparring goes, are you still having like intense sparring like you would as if you were getting prepared for a title shot?
No, certain days you do, but most of the days you don't. But there are certain days I do. About, you do that a couple days a week. You do real sparring, but not often.
Right.
Roy, the man, the legend. Roy, I just want to just say this, man. Like, seriously, like you're such an inspiration to the sport of boxing. Like, I remember like winning my first national champion in 2002 when I was in the amateurs and having Mr. Unstoppable playing. Juan McPherson gave me your CD, and I was getting ready to fight Julius Vogel, who was #1 in the country at the time. And I listened to Mr. Unstoppable with, and I did my thing. But like, I just want to let you know, like, yo, you the man, dog. Like,
thank you.
The one that like
he was Floyd Mayweather before Floyd Mayweather was Floyd Mayweather.
Nah, this is something different, man. This is guy put on one of the best shows ever, like the Radio City Music Hall, like the ring entrance, Red F.
What? People don't even know, bro. People don't know. Y'all must have forgot.
That must have forgot. That's right.
I made you laugh. I made you laugh in Vegas after the Andre Ward fight. I don't even know if you remember. You was coming out after everything, and I started rapping. Y'all must have forgot. You turned around and laughed.
Oh, yeah.
But Roy Jones, I want to ask you because again, we're all aware of all your accomplishment that you had in the ring, all your achievements as a fighter, pound for pound, #1, one of the best fighters ever. Do you feel like because you're going into the ring with Mike Tyson, people are forgetting about what you have accomplished in your career because you're being overshadowed by Mike Tyson's name?
No, I just feel like they think I'm a smaller guy. They don't know. They ain't really pay a lot of attention to how how dominant I was in my day. A lot of people still don't pay attention to the level of dominance that I had. I dominated from middleweight to heavyweight.
Right.
And I just did it. You understand me? Dominated it. I ain't dominate one weight class. I dominated our area. And that's where they get me mixed up at. You understand me? Not many fighters you ever seen have dominated an area. I dominated a whole area. Anything from 160 to heavyweight was not safe when I was around.
Y'all must have forgot. Right. You have one of the most classic knockouts ever. I don't even know the guy's name, but like when you hit him with the right hand over the top, his eyes was like big spooky, like somebody scared.
Yeah.
Oh my!
R210, like he went into a seizure. R210.
Oh my God! That's like it's like somebody, you know, like your mama hit you in your back with the belt, and you just like. Oh man!
Now, Roy, I don't know if you were able to tune in to the Chavez Senior's exhibition fight against Jorge Arce a few weeks back. These guys basically took safety precautions in this fight to give it that exhibition feel. You guys, on the other hand, are basically going double the amount of rounds that they went, smaller gloves and no headgear. Why is that?
Well, I mean, you know, you got guys who want to do an exhibition, and you got guys that want to fight. So I was called for an exhibition, but I was invited to a fight. So you can't get called and say, okay, to the exhibition, then run from the damn fight. So I was called and asked by the exhibition, but then I was invited to a fight. So, I mean, in my case, you got to do what you got to do, you know?
Absolutely. And especially now with the increase in time that they gave both you guys in preparation by pushing the date to a later date. This is basically like you guys are having a full-out training camp for this.
Yep. Yeah, we did. But it's all good.
And now I'm just curious because, again, Mike Tyson, his mentality his entire career has always been to destroy whatever's in front of him. And, you know, it's like he said, to quote him, it's basically to annihilate. How can you expect someone with that kind of mindset to come in and play nice for an exhibition event, especially if and when you start tapping into his emotions by making him miss and possibly start showboating like Roy Jones Jr. is known to do?
Yeah. You said, how can you expect that?
Yeah.
Who expects that?
Well, apparently Andy Foster, the guy from the California State Commission, he's saying that this is supposed to be just an exhibition fight. No one's going to get hurt.
Well, I can guarantee he's probably the only one that's suspecting that.
Well, the fear is that they may stop the fight before it gets good if you guys look like you're going to, really hurt each other.
Well, they can't stop before it get good, because when I get in there, it's going to be good. They can tell you that y'all forgot. It's going to be good from the first time they ring a bell. It's going to be good. If I'm in there, it's going to be good already. Trust me.
Oh man, Roy, let me ask you this: is it like your relationship with Mike Tyson? Any bad blood? Anything?
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. So,
nope.
Do we get some trash talking? Do we get anything?
I ain't really into trash talking. That's not really been my style. If somebody say something to me, now you say something to me, I'm going to defend myself. But I ain't really a trash talker like that. You know what I mean? I ain't never been the one to just jump out and start popping off. That ain't never been my style. So I said that something necessary, or you say something crazy, yeah, I'm gonna speak back. I'm gonna speak my mind always. But I'm not the normal trash talker. And why would you go talk trash to somebody who already ain't rap too tight anyway?
He's biting my leg.
You pouring gas on a fire that's already lit. Wow.
So going back to what Andy, go ahead, go for it.
Yeah, we got to go and try to put it out without Andy getting in your way, trying to stop it before you put it out. So why you gonna go make it harder than it needs to be already? Or why you gonna go give it encouragement? No, I'm not trying to encourage him. I want to, but I ain't stupid. Some people operate off emotions. You're going to take an emotional being and make him highly emotional. How stupid is that of you?
But it's going to happen in the ring, especially once you start making him miss. Do you not think that's really when...
That's fine. And once you get in that range, they can't save me, and now you get as emotional as you want to. Cause we in the right place. But I ain't finna make me emotional for doing now.
Yeah, right. We do. Y'all do gotta stand. Y'all gotta do a face off, right?
You got you got the whole thing. You got the whole thing about all that. The thing is, as a sportsman, I'm always gonna be me. You feel me? I'm me first. But guess what? Ain't nobody gonna say no craziness to me, and then I'm about to do nothing crazy to me because without me retaliate. So if you say something or do something crazy, then guess what? It's coming back at you. But you want to be professional, do it the right way. That's the easy way to do it. That's what my plan normally is.
Right.
But sometimes you get fine, and that was them bees for.
Now,
only one time I've ever really heard you say anything. I forgot who you said it. You was like 60-40. I beat that ass anyway. I forgot who you said it to. Huh? That was Hopkins.
All that talking. You lost the first fight. 60-40. You can get 60. You get 40. I get 60 because I beat you the first time, and he could get it again. That's what it was, and I meant that.
Roy's you're a man of your word, man. Oh, man.
That's correct.
Now, Roy, Andy Foster has also stated that for this event, because it's an exhibition fight, there'll be no winner declared, and there are no judges. How do you stay motivated for something like this?
Man, listen. Every day a lion wakes up and he got to kill a deer in order to survive, right? But every day a deer wakes up, he got to avoid a lion in order for him to survive. So when you listen to all that foolishness they're talking about, the real deal is you go in the ring with a killer. You either got to kill him or he gonna kill you. Don't pay no attention to what Andy Foster and nobody else say. You either got to kill him or he gonna kill you because that's what he is. You understand? So make no mistake about it. I'm not stupid. I was born at night, but it was last night.
Though I am curious though on one thing though, because actually this has been on my mind for a while, that Teddy Atlas said in an interview with I think it was with Ryan Garcia. He basically said, and I'm gonna quote him. He said, "Roy Jones was very good at doing things wrong and making them right. He broke all the rules. He would drop his hands behind his back. He did everything wrong, but he made everything right because he had great reflexes and timing. But guess what? He doesn't have that anymore. And Tyson, even though he's 3 years older, he has a few things to fall back on. One, being the natural bigger guy. 2, he has great power. And 3 is technique. He said that technique is the last thing to leave you. He has the peekaboo technique, which technique doesn't get eroded over time. That there's still that for Tyson to fall back on, where Roy doesn't have that." How do you respond to something like that, Roy?
Does he still work as a commentator for ESPN?
I'm sorry?
Does he still work as a commentator for ESPN?
No, he does not.
Why? Because he don't know what the hell he's talking about. Obviously, they'll still be paying him, right?
But it's fair to say that, unfortunately, there is a lot of people that believe that over time, speed and
a lot of people talk stuff that idiots say. That's why we got so many words there. A lot of people listen to stuff people listen to people say stuff the other night on TV that was completely ridiculous, and they weren't talking about the next. But listen, what it is, you feel me? Come on,
Yeah.
This is the top of the country. Sound like you. Know what you mean? Come on, bro. You think they in the mid? You think they in mid-level idiots too, and lower-level idiots? Come on, bro.
There's idiots everywhere.
Exactly, and I don't pay none of no damn attention.
Right. I got a question for you, Roy. After you beat John Ruiz, right, and what a great performance that you did. Like, you hurt him, you beat him up, you made him look stupid. Why not continue to compete at heavyweight?
Well, I did want to. Only person I wanted to fight was Mike Tyson, and that's the only reason I really took the fight now, because I wanted to fight him way back then. So I knew he was the youngest heavyweight champ of all time, and I was probably the lightest guy that ever become heavyweight champ of all time. So it was two great things that happened, and to fight Mike was good, but you got to remember what my focus was. My focus was I wanted to accomplish something that Bob Fitzsimmons accomplished, and I wanted to take it just a step further, because now we had a super middleweight title. Bob Fitzsimmons won the middleweight title, the light heavyweight title, the heavyweight title, and he went back and recaptured the light heavyweight title. I had to do that, or I couldn't say I did what Bob Fitzsimmons did. So unless it was Mike Tyson, I didn't have time to be to wait for nobody else. because I wasn't planning on staying at the heavyweight division.
It was. I could definitely. It makes sense because I remember talking.
Like you just said, I'm a man of my word, right?
True.
Right? So if I say I'm gonna do what Bob Fitzsimmons did, then I'm gonna go do what Bob Fitzsimmons did. And if anything, I'll do that and some. And I'm gonna go do part of it and say, oh, I did what he did. No, I didn't. If I didn't go back and recapture the light heavyweight title, I didn't do what he did. He won middleweight, light heavyweight, then recaptured the light heavyweight title. If I don't go recapture the light heavyweight title, I ain't do what he did. I did part of what he did. Right. Now I did more than what he did because there's a new division called super middleweight. So I added to it. Now one day maybe somebody can add cruiserweight to it, unless they make me go do it. Because I feel too good to fight Mike. I might go do that too. It better not piss me off too bad to make me look too good, or the cruiserweight champ might have a problem.
You gotta love it. This guy is the greatest guy ever. Like hands down, pound for pound best. Like you, Sugar Ray Leonard. Like I got y'all like on my top 5. Like you and Sugar Ray Leonard just like right here together.
Yeah, but Roy Jones, you should ask him who he has in this fight against Mike Tyson. Go on, ask him.
the winner. The winner.
Once again, I'm not gonna. Because it is what it is. Everybody entitled to their own opinion.
Of course.
We don't know it today.
Now, Roy, is this a one-off fight? Or Evander Holyfield, Shannon Briggs, and others have also stated they're looking to come back and fight in the quote-unquote Legends League.
Yeah, they can go ahead and fight Mike Tyson. I ain't got time for them.
so you're just looking to do one and done with Mike Tyson?
That's it with me.
Somebody got to get off his chest.
Well, I mean, it really is, because it ain't really about money. It ain't really about nothing, except that he said he wanted to do an exhibition with me. I know what his exhibition means. I'm like, well, hell, I wanted to fight you back in the day, too. So, I mean, basically you saying, like I said, I was invited to an exhibition. I was talked to about an exhibition and invited to a fight. So let's go.
It's gonna be a good one.
It's definitely one to look forward to.
Right. I gotta ask you a question. What is your opinion, right? You see like all these new things popping up, like DAZN. Like I give you DAZN for instance, and they using all of these like YouTubers to headline these cards and putting world champions on the undercard. Like how do you feel about that? Because I hate it.
Man, I was just gonna say, please don't even ask me, because it's not fair for me to say how I feel. I might start cursing. I don't want to y'all interview, so it's best I don't comment on, because to me it's ridiculous, but I ain't gonna mess with y'all interview and start cussing. So I think kind of like Tyson say, I think it's ludicrous, but I understand it.
You can say anything you want on the show.
Yeah, Roy, I curse all the time.
I know, but everybody trying to make money now, so I mean, it is what it is. If it's YouTube, they're making money with that, what they can want with. It's crazy. It's messing up the game of boxing, but that's what it is.
Now, you're at the same time, you're actually doing the right thing. You're promoting fights yourself on the UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, trying to do my best, but see how hard it is to do. Unless you do something crazy, it's hard to get money to do it. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like nobody wants to really pay for real boxing anymore.
That's
it's
right.
so hard that that's why they go on YouTube and stuff, because people ain't paying for real boxing no more.
Get yourself
so
a couple of YouTube guys, and I bet you they'll start paying for that.
Of course, they're paying, but it's just crazy. You know what I mean? You got guys out there that put their life on the line, die for the sport, and you got guys who just become sensational over YouTube overnight, and they get way more than the guys that been putting their blood, sweat, and tears on the line for their whole life off.
Which is freaking crazy.
It's insane.
It is what it is.
But now because I'm curious, because now there's a rumor flying around that apparently Floyd Mayweather is going to come out of retirement for this guy Logan Paul. Like is that not like spitting in the face of boxing by doing something like that?
Man, let's not talk about spitting in the face of boxing. There's a lot been going on that's been spitting in the face of boxing. I mean, it ain't just the fighters, it's the commissioners too. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want to let a guy 13-1 fight a guy 17-1 because you say one or two good for the other one, but you let a guy 49-0 fight a guy that's 0-0. Come on, bro. It ain't just this. Come on, bro. It's way deeper than that. Come on, now. Y'all know that ain't just starting.
Trust me, that been happening a lot. Commissioners turning down fights for people. That's been happening a lot.
It just start.
Mm-hmm. They used to say no fight is guaranteed until both of you guys are in the ring, but when that other heavyweight ran out the ring the other day, just the African guy, that didn't even count.
Hey, now you can't never tell nothing no more. You don't know you find a man or a woman no more. You don't know what the hell going on no more. You know what I mean? You can't tell what bathroom you come out of or who you fight no more. I mean, you just don't know no more. You know what I mean? They got 3 bathrooms. I mean, I'm all confused. I don't know what the hell be going on for real. So, I don't mind my business. I mean, I don't even know no more. You just can't tell. You know what I mean? I mean, dude get in the ring and get out. Like, what the hell going on? I mean, I don't know. You don't know what's going on no more.
So
Hey, look,
Roy, can you tell us?
This is so funny.
Wait.
I gotta crack this joke. Hey, that chick with the 5 kids is starting to look real good nowadays, right?
You know what I'm talking about? At least you know listen. Goddamn.
So Roy, can you tell us a little bit about working with the UFC Fight Pass? And Dana White's been teasing in the media that he's going to be involved in boxing at some point. If you can, what can you tell us a little bit about that?
I wish you heard him come on get involved because he's the kind of guy that can say it because he got ideas. His ideas, it worked for UFC. Look what he did with that. He took that further than boxing now. So he obviously has very good ideas. He knows what he's doing. So I hope he does come over to boxing and start trying to push it a little bit more because I think if he puts his mind to it and do it the right way, he can make this better too.
Now, for years, your name was always bandied around with Anderson Silva, and I never really understood that. Can you kind of give us a little background on where that fight had kind of, came from? It was always being talked about, but it never happened, obviously.
I never really understood it obviously either because we were supposed to do that before McGregor and Mayweather did, and it never could happen for us. But with them two, it did happen. So I don't understand what went on with it either. So I don't even want to talk about it no more.
But you seem to have a very good, productive relationship with UFC, and you're definitely putting out the most boxing content on their Fight Pass.
Yep, I do the best that I can. I'll try to do the best I can. I try to keep my word. Like that man said there, I try to get my word.
That's you already said. Y'all must have forgot, man. Listen.
Now I'm curious to know, Roy, because honestly, your commentating when you used to commentate on fights was probably one of the best feedback that we would get from people watching it back at home. Can we ever expect you to return back to commentating?
If I ain't working beside Teddy Atlas, yeah. But if I work beside Teddy Atlas, hell no.
So, Roy, what were your thoughts about how everything ended boxing-wise with HBO?
Man, I was disappointed. Man, it hurt. It was a very disappointing day for me. You know what I mean? That was like the limelight of my career was being on HBO. That used to be the thing as a kid to grow up one day and be on HBO. Then for it just to end and no more HBO boxing, I mean, wow, I put years into helping fulfill that legacy that they had already built and to keep it up to where it's supposed to be at. And then for it to just drop off the face of the earth, that hurt, you know what I mean? Because you put a lot into that, and now it's all gone.
Do you keep in touch with Larry Merchant and Jim Lampley at all?
I talk to Jim every now and then. I talk to Max a lot. I ain't talk to Merchant much, but I ain't work with Merchant as much as I did with Max and Jim. So with Max and Jim. So I don't talk to Larry as much, but I do talk to him when I see him.
Are we ever going to hear them call boxing again either? I mean, obviously Max is doing his thing.
Yeah, I have no clue.
What do you?
It doesn't get any better than them two, though. I promise that.
Yeah, with them gone, you definitely appreciate them a lot more. That's for sure.
Of course.
What do you think about Andre Ward and Timothy Bradley as commentators? I think that's real cool.
I like them. I'm glad they got the job doing. I mean, I love to see boxers get opportunity to do other things. So I'm glad they got the opportunity in the job. I really like listening to them, and I love that they are on the air and giving the insight because what better to listen to somebody tell it than somebody who's done it. Mm-hmm. I hate listening to people done it tell me a story. Don't tell me about running a football if you ain't ran one.
Mm-hmm. George Foreman, you don't know boxing. You just watch boxing. He was another great commentator as well, George.
Yeah, he was. All the boxers, because they know. At least they've been there and seen it, so they know what they're talking about because they've been in there. But the guys that never been in there, that's the ones that piss you off because they ain't never been there, but they can tell you so much about it.
Mm. And their opinion count. That's crazy.
Yeah, supposed to.
It's just different though because the psychological aspect that many people who've never participated in being part of the ring, it's just a fighter's mindset. Unless you've ever stepped foot inside the ring, it's hard to explain what's going on through your mind while you're in there, especially when things are not going your way.
Yeah, exactly right.
Now I'm curious to know, because you did make a comment about how possibly if Tyson was to ever play around with the idea of actually making a comeback, that he would actually surprise a lot of heavyweights, current heavyweights. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Man, listen, the thing about Tyson is, and one thing Chitty said that really is true, is Tyson is very skillful at what he does, and Tyson is one of the best punchers to ever touch the game. So if Tyson hit one of them dudes in 10-ounce gloves, I don't know if the end of them dudes can really take that, because they knock each other down and they don't punch near about as hard as Tyson did. You feel me?
Right.
So I would give a puncher's chance against any of the guys that are fighting now, because Tyson is a different puncher. They ain't never seen a puncher. Like, now, Wilder can punch kind of like Tyson with the right hand, but that's just right hand. Tyson can knock you out with left hand, left elbow, right hand, right elbow. It don't matter. You feel me? Tyson got both things he can knock you out with. They just got one. So it's a whole different animal.
Mm-hmm. Especially Joshua with that little chin he got. How you say, Roy? He chinny?
Yeah.
He a little chinny.
So,
It'd be rough on him.
so Roy, of the top heavyweights right now, Wilder, Fury, and Joshua, who's the top heavyweight?
It's hard to say, man. You got to give it to Fury right now.
Yeah. We definitely do, because I think Wilder has a better resume than Anthony Joshua.
He does.
Joshua.
He does. But Fury beat Wilder. So.
Mm-hmm. So Fury's the guy.
So does Fury beat Joshua?
Fury also the one who beat Klitschko.
Yeah, he
Klitschko
damn sure
was the
did.
man.
But
Klitschko was the man.
does
So
Fury beat Joshua?
Klitschko. I don't know. It's still a fight. I mean, it's gonna be a tough one. I mean, it's gonna be a tough one for both of them. But Fury definitely has the edge going in to me.
You see, like with that fight, with me is like Fury's not the biggest puncher. You know what I mean? So I think that fight is more competitive. But I think
Joshua Chan is a big puncher.
But if I think Joshua fought Wilder, I think Wilder knocks Joshua out. If it makes sense, I think matchups is a bad matchup.
I think the same thing.
See, me and Roy think alike, y'all. It's a Jones thing. That's all. They always want to keep it with the Joneses, man.
You know, Roy, as a veteran of the sport as well, man, it's like, what's your take on female boxing and how much it has improved lately?
I really love the female boxing. I love to see them fight. Females are more patient than males, and females also learn a little quicker than males because they feel like they're less adequate. So they're willing to listen a little bit more because they know in the strength department, they don't see themselves as being physically as strong as men. So they listen more to technique, and they learn quicker. And they learn actually better so quicker because they know that technique is very important to them. And now with them getting so good at it, I'm seeing so many of them improve at such a fast rate that, I mean, it's beautiful to me. I love to see women fighting. I love to see them get in the ring, get better. I love the sport. So I love women being involved in boxing.
Who are a couple females that you love watching the fight?
I like Sinisa. I used to like Bray Cruz. I still like watching Bray Cruz. I used to love to watch Ann Wolf and Layla Ali, of course. I used to watch Christy. A lot of young girls I watch now. But Sinisa is probably one of the better ones I've been watching lately. I like to watch Katie Taylor, too.
But now
So what's your opinion on Clarissa Shields versus Layla Ali?
And I do love to watch Clarissa Shields, too. That's what I'm trying to think of. I love to watch Clarissa. Right now, I think Clarissa been a little more active than Layla, so it'd be a tough fight on Layla. They've been taller now, but I think Clarissa probably would, win the fight because Clarissa has been more active. And Layla's been out for so long, so I don't know.
Do you think that's a possible exhibition fight that they can possibly make?
I don't think they'll do an exhibition to hate each other too much for that.
That's women for you, though. I'm sorry.
Women are not more emotional than men.
Yes.
Boy, don't we know.
Trust me, I know that, right? She didn't come upstairs yet.
The exhibition about much of me and Mike doing exhibition.
And the scary thing about women is that women know who could beat who.
Now, we just do an exhibition. We're on the head, yeah. Well, yeah, we just do an exhibition. We go 10-ounce glove, 12-ounce glove. Yeah, we just do an exhibition. Yeah, we want to run around. Judge do that. Yeah, we just do an exhibition. It's all for charity. Nobody's trying to hurt nobody or nothing, but throwing our head, yeah. Smallest glove we can get. not 6 weeks, 12 weeks training camp. But we just do it as a exhibition. We it's nothing serious, nothing to get all excited about. I mean, they just give you 4 months to train. Small gloves. Small rings.
Damn.
Listen, how many feet of the ring is gonna be?
16 by 16.
Woo!
It's like they really want you guys to basically be in a pit fighting.
Even Cal ain't
I know.
But now
it's just an exhibition, though.
it's just an exhibition, though.
It's just an exhibition. It's only in the 60, but
It's supposed to be an exhibition.
Right, but it's just an exhibition.
oh man,
Nothing to worry about.
listen. Hopefully, when that fight goes down, that they can actually have fans in there.
I mean, over the fans and ambulance because somebody gonna probably need one.
That actually brings up a good point, Roy. What's your take on this whole no fans in the arenas right now for these boxing fights during this pandemic?
Man, listen, I have a whole different outlook on the pandemic than most people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been living a long ass time without a mask. You feel me?
Right.
I don't need no damn mask. We've been living a long ass time around people with COVID and pneumonia and flu and everything else. And we didn't need no mask. And what's worse is the mask ain't really stopping that.
Mm.
So what we wearing masks for? What are we wearing masks for? What is it stopping? What is it stopping? What is it stopping?
This is true.
Come on, man. Be for real.
But you can walk down the streets in New York like my boy Larry right here. They might kill you, though.
Yeah, they give you very dirty looks if you're not wearing the mask.
Oh, I understand. They try to listen. Anytime they try to push something like that to scare you into wearing masks and stuff, that's their whole thing. They want to scare everybody into wearing masks. So it takes away from everybody's identity. Now nobody knows, nobody cares. You're just a number. You're not a person no more. You're a number.
That makes good sense. I feel like a bank robber every time I go to a store. As soon as I pull up, I gotta put on a mask and I go inside of a store. Like I'm getting ready to rob this place. I don't know.
You're going to come suspect 1011. That's going to be you.
Now for this upcoming fight, the next big fight next to yours is the Teofimo fight against Lomachenko fight. I'm very curious to know what's your insight on that.
That's a good damn boxing match for a change. You feel me? That's a good damn boxing. So you got to remember, me and Tyson have a good damn fight. That's a good damn boxing match. You feel me? There's a difference in a good damn boxing match and a good damn fight. You feel me? A good boxing match consists of two guys who are out there trying to win, trying to prove that they are the best in the world at what they do, and trying to show people that they are good enough, smart enough, wise enough to outthink, outwork, and technically outwit the other guy. You feel me? A good fight is two people who don't give a damn no more. They just want to go out there and prove that they still can do what they do when they want to, how they want to, against whoever they want to do it against, even if it's the other cat that don't give a damn either. So that's the difference between two fights. But I think it's a great fight for boxing. I'm glad that it's finally happening. I think if Teofimo Lopez can sustain himself for a 12-round fight, he can make it interesting. But he hasn't really been in with a great like Lomachenko yet as a professional. So this going to tell us a lot about who he is and what the future will hold for him.
And if you had to give Teofimo a few pointers on how to eliminate Lomachenko's best asset, which is his footwork, what would you recommend?
The smartest thing to eliminate footwork is a good jab.
Ooh.
A good jab throws all that off.
You hear that, guys?
And then
you hear that, young fighters? A good jab, the key. Even though this man used to throw left hooks for jabs.
This is true.
And lead up.
You know why? Because I also had the best footwork, so I ain't need to throw nobody footwork because mine was better than theirs anyway. So they need to try to go back.
Yeah, this guy, Roy Jones, gave a Superman feeling a completely different meaning simply because what you saw this guy do in the ring was never seen before and probably still haven't seen to the way he did it, you know?
I never seen nobody get hit cleaner to the body when you did Virgil Hill. Jesus Christ. I had to check my drawers after that shot, man. I ain't gonna hold you.
Now, another fight that's coming up, Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. Roy, insight on that?
Well, I think Leo Santa Cruz has a lot to prove still. We know Tank is a really big puncher, and I don't know if Santa Cruz has been in with a guy that punches like Tank yet, but we know Tank has been in with a few guys that can hit a little bit. I mean, he also didn't look so impressive against the kid from Cuba that he should have looked impressive against. So that gives me, lets me know that Leo Santa Cruz does have a chance, but I don't know if Leo Santa Cruz can deal with the explosiveness and the fact that Tank is really, really big for his weight class to play a factor in that fight.
Mm-hmm. I think if Leo could take his punch, I think Tank's in up for a long night.
Yeah, once again, if he can deal with the punch because of the weight, you feel me? Tank is huge for so, and all that's going to determine whether he takes the punch or not. But you're right, if he takes the punch, it's going to be a long night for Tank.
It's going to be a long night.
Yeah, but I honestly think that if so long as Gervonta Davis took this fight serious and is in training camp actually working hard towards this fight, I think it might be an early night for Santa Cruz, to be honest with you.
Like I said, it'll depend on how well Santa Cruz can take the punch. If he can't take the punch, he out.
He out of it. I ain't going to lie. Look, the young boy hitting real hard, man.
Tank is a tank. Trust me.
Now, I'm curious to know, Roy, because you obviously come from a different era of boxing. You come from a time in where fighters would fight anybody, and like there wasn't all this like what people consider now so much cherry picking. Like people cared about their records, but they weren't so protective of trying to keep that undefeated record for so long. And you guys actually took risks. Like, what are your thoughts on how boxing is nowadays, with most of these fighters being more protective of that undefeated record?
Man, it's kind of crazy to me because I was just thinking not too long ago. I was like, man, it's bad because they got people like the Zone who are trying to do the right thing, and the boxers still find a way to not let it work out right. I don't know how it's happening in boxing, but somebody find a way for it still not to happen right. If you call me and tell me, Roy, in my prime, we're going to pay you $30 million a fight, 5 fights. You ain't got to be 10, 5. You know what I'm going to tell you? Okay, y'all call me, tell me what I'm fighting and what weight I'm fighting. Don't tell me who it is because I don't give a damn.
That's fact.
Just tell me when and what. Because guess what? This is what I do. Because y'all going to pay me right and give me $30 million a fight, don't even worry about telling me who it is. They tell me where and what weight class.
Listen, Henry, the right was hurt. He beat him with the left.
And tell him who he fight. Because I don't give a damn who I'm fighting. You just tell him who he fight. But he'll know.
That's a fact. Listen, I hands down, you beat everybody that's in the middleweight division, super middleweight division right now. I mean, I think Benavidez would have gave you a little problem, a little tough going because the kid is first of all, he's a cruiserweight fighting at 168 pounds. Need to go fight in his real weight class. But outside of Andre Ward, I see that would have been a good fight. But the rest of those guys, Charlo, the rest of those guys, you mopped the floor with them. Hands easy work.
I'm glad you see. And Benavidez don't punch hard enough to keep me off him, but you're right.
He's just awkward. He's big. He's long. That dude is really big.
He's tall and awkward, but I'm a different kind of animal. Trust me.
That's a fact, because Glenn Kelly was kind of tall and long and awkward too, and you did the chicken dance on him.
Yeah. Are you going to do the chicken dance on Mike Tyson?
What I tell you about the animal? What I tell you about the animal? You ain't talking about the animal. I hope you will leave the animal alone. If I do to be 10 seconds left in the last round.
But Curtis, you brought up an interesting point. I want to get Roy Jones' input on this. So Charlo, the one that fights at 154, I forget if it's Jermell or Jermal, he took a loss to Tony Harrison. And I personally think that loss made him a better fighter. Do you think, Roy, that that's something that tends to happen to fighters, that once they lose that 0, does that usually motivate them to come out even better than what they did before they lost that 0?
First of all, for him, it was a very close loss. Probably a fight that could have went either way. Mm-hmm. So that was why it bothered and motivated him. Definitely, your twin brother's still champ and you not. Of course, it's gonna motivate you to get your belt back because how can one of y'all be a champ and the other not? So I mean, he has a lot of motivating factors, not other than just that loss that made him get back in the gym and get better. And I think they did make him better, and because he got better, it's also going to make his brother get better. So I think they both doing a very good job at pushing one another. They're both improving well, and I really like what I see at the Charlos right now.
But even Canelo, for instance, because Canelo's also a perfect example of that. Once he lost to Floyd Mayweather, he came back a completely different fighter.
Well, I ain't going to say that. I ain't going to say that because you didn't come back a completely different fighter. You came back against some completely different adversity.
Okay.
Because you still the same fighter. And you changed to a different fighter. You just did the same thing Julio Cesar Chavez did to Roger Mayweather. You would have pressured him from round one, knowing that you can't outbox a slick boxer. Who thinks that they're going to outbox one of the slickest, smartest, fastest boxers boxing at the time? You're going to go outbox him? But at 21-year-old, you probably would think that. So it didn't make you a better fighter. It probably made you a smarter fighter. You realize that certain guys, they got different attributes that may be better than me. He's a better boxer than I am. So why would I box him and I'm 16 pounds heavier than him? So that makes you a better fighter. Then you never fought him again. So how we know you're a better fighter? How we know that tomorrow you fight him, you box him the same way, he won't beat you the same way? So how we know you're a better fighter? Because you ain't beat him, you would have beat up a bunch of other people. That don't necessarily mean you're a better fighter. Y'all saying that because that's what TV and media says. Oh, he lost. But he didn't lose to nobody else, so it made him a better fighter. How you know? How you know? Did he take the same steps again? No, he didn't. So how you know he's a better fighter? Because it looked like it, but guess what? That same bulldog that made him look wrong ain't in front of him no more. So of course he looks like that. That got better? No, that don't mean he got better.
So now, is it fair to say, though, back in the days, prime
God's
Canelo,
say
a prime Roy Jones Jr., Roy Jones Jr. would have done the same exact thing?
He stops him. Stops him. He stops Canelo.
Yeah, I mean,
Stop.
Canelo couldn't box him. Canelo couldn't box him. If you box me, I'm going to beat you. Canelo couldn't box me. And he had a hard time fighting me, too, because I also can fight. Unlike some of them that just box, I can box or I can fight, but he couldn't have boxed him. If he boxed me, he's going to lose every day.
Now I'm curious to know, like, out of all the young fighters that you see here, again, because your shoes to fill are completely, it's difficult. But who out there do you see that reminds you of a young Roy Jones Jr.?
There's a lot of guys that have it's hard because there's a lot of guys with a lot of different attributes, but nobody with the full package. A lot of them got a lot of different attributes. Like Lomachenko reminded me a lot of me, but he just didn't have the quite explosiveness like I got. But he do a lot of things with his feet that reminded me of me. Then the guy fighting Jeffrey Lopez got that same explosiveness that I had, but he don't have the footwork that Lomachenko got. So there's a lot of guys that got different features, which is good. I mean, I'm spread all around in a lot of different areas. People picking up different things that they got that they like from me, and they do it, and I'm cool with that. But the total package is kind of hard to find.
That's a fact. And the God's people say amen. Preach, brother. Preach. Take him to school, man.
I just try to tell the truth.
Shit, that's all we could do is tell the truth. You know what I mean? So we got Roy and Mike. We got Javante and Leo. We got me versus Larry.
So Roy, one of the questions that some of the people have is that Mike's pretty much been advertising himself as he's smoking a lot of pot for the last 2 years. How, can you tell us how his cardio you think is going to be? When we see these 15-second clips of him being explosive, but how he can't do that, style for 8 rounds.
Well, he might can now. The game's 3 more months to prepare, so he might can now. He couldn't do it September 12th. No, that's why I was so happy to take the fight September 12th. So I know all the he won't be able to do it. But now, if they give him to damn near December, of course he might be able to do it for 8 rounds now. And they cut it down to 2-minute rounds, so of course he might be able to do it now. Yeah, he just wants to Pot also has these positives that do for people too out here. So I mean, they're selling CBD everywhere. If CBD in the pot he's smoking too, it may be a little more THC in it for you, but it's still CBD in it. So, I mean, it could have its positive benefits as well. So who knows? So, yeah, he does. He smokes a lot of pot, still popping. And that's on him and his business. But they gave him 4 months to get ready. So don't tell me he ain't going to be able to go 8 rounds, then it's 8 2-minute rounds. I guarantee he'd be able to play 8 rounds, 8 2-minute rounds like it ain't nothing. He can do that without having to go to the gym hardly.
Listen, he got to walk around that weed field, picking up that weed. You be running around that weed field, getting high. He in shape, man. Don't.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
Shout out to Mike Tyson. Drink. How you say it?
Shout out to Mike Tyson for reinventing himself the way he has.
Man, what you talking about? I mean, everybody wrote him off, and look where he at now.
That's true. I love Mike Tyson.
Talk of the world. Talk of the country again. Talk of the world again. At 54 years old, who else can do it like that?
Nobody.
So outside of Badu Jack for this for the undercard, who else do you guys have lined up for these fights?
I'm not promoting the fight. I don't know who they got on the card, and Rick got with you. I don't really give a damn. I got my own life I have to be concerned about. That's all.
Oh man, you can't make this shit up, man, at all.
But Roy Jones, we're gonna hold you to that. The last 10 seconds of the last round, we're expecting that chicken dance, man. Otherwise, we're gonna be calling you back and gonna be like, "Yo, what happened, man?"
Yo, Roy, can I ask you a question, Roy? Can I ask a favor of you, Roy?
Curtis, you've been asking questions for 45 minutes.
I wanna ask you a favor before you go, Roy.
What's that?
Can you come on the podcast again, leading up towards the fight for us, bro?
We can try to call my man Edward Kennan and we'll see what we do. But I'll probably talk much more crazy when I get close to the fight because I'm going to be hot-headed and pissed off. I'm probably talking a little more crazy next time you hear from me now. So it's gonna be
we encourage that kind of behavior.
It'd be a little bit more, it would be rated a little bit more X-rated than, you know what I'm saying? So I'll try, but,
I ain't mad at you. But you gotta drop us a verse. You gotta drop us a verse before you go though too. You gotta drop us a verse.
I can't drop a verse right now, but listen, I will try to come back on.
Roy, we really appreciate you joining us, and we thank Ed Keenan for hooking us up, and like I said, we really do hope you can come back again and talk to us.
All right, thank y'all. I'll call in and we'll see if we can make it happen. All right.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much, Roy. We appreciate it.
I really enjoyed talking to you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed me as much as I enjoyed y'all. Y'all really well.
We enjoyed it more than you, believe me. Thank you so much.
All right.
Well, what did you guys think? That was pretty cool, talking to the legend himself.
Yo, Roy talk mad shit. He was like, he went, I'm telling you, you heard what the man said. I'm a man of my word, baby.
Listen, I'm just expecting that chicken dance at that last 10 seconds of that fight, man.
Yo,
he's gonna call you out when he does it.
And listen, and he said what he said was so true. What the motivation is, that motherfucker right there is coming across the ring to hurt me. That's my motivation.
Yeah, because honestly, standing across from Mike Tyson, dude, you have no choice but to prepare for a fight. You're literally going to war at that moment. Because again, Mike Tyson's not.
He only
playing
fights
nice.
one way.
That's right.
He only fights one way.
That's right.
So it's like you have to prepare for that one way.
But now, man, listen, it's going to be an exciting one. I'm really curious to see how Roy Jones comes in shape, how he's going to hold himself against someone like Mike Tyson.
Roy's a very prideful person. He's going to come in great shape.
And it's going to be an exciting one. I'm honestly looking forward to it.
And look, and Roy can crack too. Don't get it twisted.
He can,
he
but
can
then
really crack.
When we're comparing him to Tyson, come on, it's like it's almost.
Listen, but he can really listen. And he still got speed, bro. One of them sharp shots, bro, that he don't see.
Yeah.
Shit, I thought.
We're definitely gonna have a big fight party for that one.
6 feet apart,
yo, listen.
We'll have these little curtains.
If they having fans, I don't know why Boxing Insider can't get out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I don't think they are having fans.
If Boxing Insider gets out there, Curtis, I think I'll be sending our editor Hans out there because he'll be able to take some videos.
No. You can send me.
Send Curtis Spice Jones. Come on, man. It's Jones.
Send me and Henry over there.
Henry will be watching it at my apartment, I think.
Yo, Jose, what were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that was uncalled for. He's gonna be very upset tomorrow that he.
Yeah, Jose, we love you, man. We missed you, man. Come on, man.
Curtis, I have to take Jose's line. Make sure you tell your wife that you love her.
I do love my baby.
Like I said, this was really cool. You know, we're going to be doing a bunch more shows now that we've got our studio back. But to get a chance to talk to Roy Jones before a big fight like this, I mean, it was just incredible. So anyway, it was really cool. We had a chance to talk to Roy Jones Jr., one of the best guest we've ever had on the show. And we've had a few really cool guests on the show, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, I think our show, we're finally going to get our momentum back after it's been like 6 months. And I mean, today's show is fascinating.
Yeah, it's interesting to get an insight from someone like Roy Jones. You know, coming from someone who's accomplished so much in their career, also having the background of being a commentator, so you hear his feedback usually live on TV. So for him to come on the show and give us his insights on these upcoming fights, on his fight against Mike Tyson, I thought it was quite insightful.
Yes, super insightful. I mean,
And look, and by the way, we mostly talked about the Tyson fight, and I touched on it a little bit. But what's really cool is Roy has become a promoter, and he made a deal with the UFC. Boxing fans can have their opinions, yes or no, on the UFC, but UFC has a service called UFC Fight Pass.
Hey, listen, Roy's for it.
He's doing fights, 8-9 fights a year on UFC Fight Pass, and they're as good as, you know, they're great cards, and it seems to be that Dana's dipping his toe in boxing using Roy Jones, and who knows? I mean, who knows what could be the future of this?
Roy Jones, from his own words, he said Dana White is probably the best thing that can happen in boxing right now. So I'm curious to see.
Well, he says that, but if you're Al Heyman, if you're Eddie Hearn, Dana White's the worst thing that can happen because he's a marketing powerhouse.
Well, it's interesting to see what he would bring to the table. You know, like what would he do differently that Eddie Hearn and
Dana's Twitter account alone is a game changer for boxing. Just the amount of followers this guy reaches. Nobody in boxing can come close to that.
Well, it's interesting to see what's going to happen, and to see him, you know, supporting female boxing the way he did, saying that, you know, he likes to watch Clarissa Shield. Katie Taylor is one of his favorite fighters. It's like, it's good to see that the females are finally getting, you know, the recognition that they deserve, not only from fans but from champion level fighters. You know.
Yes, that's true. But we owe a lot of that to Clarissa and her 2 gold medals. That put a lot of attention on women's boxing as well.
Well, anyway, Curtis, Henry, thank you guys very much for joining us on this week's edition of BoxingInsider.com Radio. We will be back next week. We hopefully will be joined again by Jose Guzman, who we miss. And thank you guys very much, and we hope you enjoyed the interview with Roy Jones Jr.
Stay up to date with all things Boxing Insider at BoxingInsider.com and across all social.
It's fact. I'm the best. You know what I mean? I don't want to believe it myself, but it's the truth. I'm the best.
Until next week's fight, go to your premier boxing destination, BoxingInsider.com.